JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 11th of May 2020. So yeah, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Monday morning's live session. Finally, we're live. We're back on track. It seems that for now we're back to normal, so hopefully this stays like this, guys. So yep, I hope you had a fantastic weekend. So yep, and I hope you're all feeling nice and relaxed and ready for a new week. So as always, guys, we're gonna have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we jump into that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimers. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute any invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, also, just before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos. And of course, our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yep, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. So let me just go up. There we go. So yeah, right there on the top, and it'll take you to this page. As I said, you may find it useful. So now then, jumping into quickly into this figure here. So yeah, just a quick update on what's happening. So yes, as you can see, we've surpassed the 4 million mark, and well, I mean, now it continues to rise, unfortunately. Also, the amount of deaths also continues to rise, and as you can see here by this ranking table, that UK managed to get into third place and overcame Italy. Basically, it's now on the kind of stepping on the feet of Spain. Of course, US continues to lead the way here, also with the total amount of deaths as well. So I mean, not very good. Hope the world kind of starts you know, well, slowly dropping in lowering these numbers. Of course, Europe started showing some good results. Asia, well, Asia has been already performing quite well. And as we can see, Russia started picking up sharply the number here. So, well, I mean, of course, the number of infected is a huge one. However, the number of deaths is still on the low side. So very good. I mean, I hope they keep it this way. Here, and as you can see, the total deaths are, the leaders are the US, and the United Kingdom is in second place, overcoming Italy and Spain here. So yeah, guys, let's continue monitoring this. And now jumping into the charts. Now, the first one I want to touch on here is the German DAX. Now, I've looked at this one last week, and basically I was telling you guys to keep close eye on this little range here. And as you can see, on Friday, we've managed to have a nice close above this 10,820 territory that I kept talking about throughout a few weeks now. So, excuse me. So basically, for now, I mean, all this is kind of still looking quite interesting for the buyers. If we take a look at the cash index, I'll see where it's currently balancing at. So the price is currently balancing at around 11,950 territory. So basically, it's still slightly below that psychological 11,000 zone, but remains above the 10,820 zone. So that's still good. We will remain somewhat positive. However, to be honest, we would prefer Of course, to see a push above this barrier, the 11,236 territory here, which is the high of April, the highest point of April, that would be the more convenient level for us, after which we could aim for higher levels. But don't get me wrong, we're still somewhat on the positive side, because in a way we could also try to draw here an upside support line, which, as you can see, is still kind of holding the price from dropping lower. So for now, we will continue monitoring this. We will continue looking at this upside support line as well. Don't get me wrong, it's a little bit on the tentative side. However, still, if this is just an additional thing to confirm that there is still potential for this one to move higher. But as I said, for those who are more on the cautious side, you can just wait for a push above the highest point of April and then aim for higher levels. But again, it's up to you guys. You decide what's more convenient for you. In case this upside line starts breaking here and we see a drop below this territory, then, well, we'll wait for a drop below the 10,280 zone before considering deeper extensions to the downside. So for now, even this territory here, even if we get a break of this upside line, this territory would be somewhat of a neutral one for us. FTSE 100 very quickly here. So on the index managed to close on Thursday, because on Friday it was a bank holiday in UK. So on Thursday it closed in the positive territory and also closed above this 5,895 zone. So which is seen as was seen as a positive. So looking at the FTSE cash index right now, we can see that the price is currently balancing at around 5,970 zone. So basically still below the April high. So that's what we need. We need to see a nice good break above this in order to aim for higher levels. Don't get me wrong, we're still going to be a little bit more on the positive side. However, of course, don't get me wrong, as long as it kind of stays here, still there's a huge risk for this one to reverse back down. Yes, we will, like I said, we will aim for the upside for now. To get more comfortable for us with higher levels, we would need to see a break above the April high, which is roughly around the 6,151.52 zone. But again, like I said, we will continue targeting the upside for now. It is currently showing good signs. So let's see if it can stay here like this. I mean, if the bulls can continue pushing this one further north. Also, we can draw a tentative upside support line taken from the low of the 23rd of March. However, yep, for now, like I said, it is a bit of a tentative line, so don't focus on it too much. What you could keep an eye on is the low of this one, the low of last week, which is roughly around the 5,702 zone. So a nice good drop below this could in a way open the door towards slightly lower levels. But as I've mentioned previously, to get a little bit more comfortable with the downside, we would like to see a drop below the 5,500 level, which is the lowest point of 2016. So let me just drag back this one very quickly. So there we go. That's the lowest point of 2016, guys. So keep your eyes on this one. For now, like I said, we are more bullish than bearish. We'll be very careful still, but yeah, to get comfortable with higher levels, we would like to see a push above the April high. Quick update on gold. Here, gold is well, it's basically moving sideways for now. I mean, on Friday we saw the gold kind of drifting back down, and as you can see, it moved back below the 14-15 territory. It closed below this, and in a way now it increases the chances of a potential drift lower again. However, don't get me wrong, we're still stuck in this little wide range here. Now, some of you might say maybe it's not really a range, it's more of a descending triangle. Now let me just quickly put this one on the chart. So something like this basically, but yeah, it still comes in line with the idea of, let's say, seeing higher levels only if after we see a break either above the 1715 territory, or even better, the 1723 zone. And that 1723 zone is the high of the 12th of December 2012. So and also, as you can see, last week it acted as a very strong area of resistance. So in a way, for those who are more on the cautious side, you could just wait for a push above the that 1723 territory, and then we could aim for some higher levels. For now, we will probably remain a little bit on the neutral side, to be honest, because even the downside, we cannot really examine the downside until we see a drop below the 1680 territory. So that's why for now we'll keep an eye on this area, we'll keep an eye on this level and the 1680, and yep, for now, like I said, we will remain neutral and wait for a confirmation break of one of the either the 1723 zone here or the 1680. I do understand that we could be missing out here, but to be honest, it's very unclear. Let's see if which way this is going to play out. Either this is going to be a nice descending triangle with a potential move lower, or it actually could still be a nice wide range, but we will aim for the upper bound of the range if we get a push above the 1723 zone. So keep your eyes on this one. Brent oil. So Brent oil is kind of still neutral, I would say. Yes, it was moving higher, but last week especially, you can see that, but then it kind of sold off on Wednesday and then Thursday, but then managed to recover somewhat on Friday. However, we'll probably remain cautiously bullish from the very short-term perspective, because we could aim for some more upside. However, of course, don't forget that we are still below the downside resistance line taken from the high of the 8th of January, and yep, basically for now, I mean, we could see maybe another push higher here, especially if we get a push above the high of last week, which is roughly around the 32.20 zone, and then yes, we will aim for this downside line. Initially we'll aim for the 36.10 zone, but which, as you can see, acted as a fantastic area of resistance recently in March and around mid-March and in April. But around there, like I said, there is this downside line which could provide resistance, so keep your eyes on this one. And in terms of the downside, we will start looking at lower levels if we get a drop below the 27.18 territory, which is the low of the 15th of April, and then we will aim for slightly lower levels. Ethereum. Now, this one is beautiful. It broke down here to broke this upside support line on Sunday. It closed below this, and not only that, it also closed below this area here. The one that I was talking about on Friday, the 195 territory, roughly around there. And as you can see now, it drifted lower. It found support near the 100 and the 200 EMAs here on the daily chart, and rebounded somewhat, but still all this is kind of painting a bit of a bearish kind of atmosphere. The way you could look at it is if we get a drop below the yesterday's low, which is the around 180 zone here. This would also, of course, place the price below all of these EMAs, the 100 and the 200 EMAs on the daily chart, and yep, further declines could be possible. Then we'll target the 166 territory, or even we could go all the way here towards the lowest point of April 16th, near the 147 mark. But again, for now, if for those who are more on the cautious side, you can just wait, like I said, for a break above below the 180.40 zone, or in a way you could round it up towards just 180, and then yep, we could consider further declines. Now then, in terms of the upside, so with this one here, of course, previously I talked about this barrier here, and still this barrier will remain the more comfortable level for us, after which we could consider higher levels. So yep, for now, I mean, be very careful here. If we get a break above this, this is still going to be basically for us the upside scenario, after which we will consider the upside scenario. So the 227.50 zone, that's what we need. That's the highest point of April, and then we need to break of that in order to aim to get comfortable with higher levels. So yeah, that's the kind of the Ethereum part here. I mean, like I said, it's very interesting because as you are aware, we are going to be having a Bitcoin halving soon, so I need to double check on that exactly when that's going to happen, but yep, you can research that yourself as well. Yep, for now, guys, looking at this picture on Ethereum, we are leaning a little bit more to the downside. We would like to see a drop below the 180 zone in order to get a little bit more comfortable with lower levels. AUDNZD. So here it's very interesting as well, because I kept talking about this one And I kept talking about this upside support line taken from the low of the 18th of March. And what I was saying that in a way for us to, well, as long as this pair stays above this upside support line, we will remain positive. So as you can see, last week it drifted higher, but then on Friday the pair kind of sold off a little bit, still remained above this upside line. This morning we are seeing a test of this. Already we saw a test of this upside support line taken from the low of the 18th of March, and now the big question, I mean, you can see that this upside support line continues to hold the rate from dropping lower. So now we're still more positive than negative, and let's see if this pair can drift all the way here back to the 107.57 territory right here, which is near the highest point of April and marks the low of the 12th of November. So yep, keep your eyes on this one. In terms of the downside, we need to see a drop below this little highlighted area right here, the 1.0585 zone, and then we will consider slightly lower levels. US dollar against the Turkish lira. Now here I've talked about this one last week a lot, and because we hit a new all-time high here on the US dollar against the Turkish lira. The same story on euro. Turkish lira. So as you can see, after reaching the 7.2685 zone, the pair here started drifting lower. It the same day as it reached the all-time high, it sold off and closed the day in the red. So yep, it continued to drift lower. Still, for now, as I've mentioned before, as long as we are staying above this upside support line taken from the low of the 9th of March, we'll remain somewhat positive. That's the well, that's the, like I said, it is a bit of a tentative line. I do understand that, but we'll keep an eye on it. We'll see how it's gonna perform, but yeah, for now guys, keep your eyes on this upside line, and also keep your eyes on this level here, roughly around the psychological 7 mark, because that's the highest point of April. And if we get a drop below this, then, well, I mean, deeper extensions to the downside could be possible. We could be going for a bit of a correction, and the correction, let's see how much we could correct here. Now I will draw the Fibonacci somewhere from here after we started pushing sharply to the upside here. Now if I grab this one very quickly, or actually let me just double check this very quickly. Yes, roughly around there, I believe. So let me just quickly double check. Yep, there we go. So that's going to be a little bit of a short-term one, I would say. We can draw a bigger Fibonacci just later on. We'll see if this one works out, because again, the target here could be around this 23.6%. So that's below the below that psychological 7 zone. But to be honest, if it drops here to this 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci, then deeper extensions to the downside could be still possible. So yep, could be quite interesting, guys. But for now, of course, like I said, keep your eyes on the upside support line taken from the low the 9th of March. US dollar against the Japanese yen. So this one's pushing higher. Last week I talked about this potential idea where I was saying that if this downside line continues to provide resistance, then we could see another round of selling. But as you can see, this morning we're seeing a nice strong move higher here. It is breaking this downside line. Don't get me wrong, this is a first indication that there could be a change in the short-term trend. We could see this one pushing further north. However, we will, for now, we'll probably remain neutral, because we would like to see how this day is going to end, because what we don't want to see here is a false breakout and then, let's say, the daily candle still ending the today's trading session in kind of in the red. So or should I say closing at least below this downside line, because if it does that, then, well, I mean, well, we could get back to examining the downside again. So but still, for us now, looking at this picture, preferably we would like to see a drop below the 105.94 zone, which is the low of last week. And near the low of last week, and this would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and deeper extensions to the downside could be possible. But again, that we need to see a drop below this 105.94 zone. In terms of the upside, we'll wait for a push above the 107.50 and then aim for higher levels. For now, we will, like I said, we'll remain a little bit on the neutral side because we want to see what's going to happen here with this downside line. Will this candle stay above this, or will this be seen as just a false breakout today? USDCAD now, here is a little bit of an opposite situation. So if the yen is, although the US dollar is on slightly on the weaker side right now, still the yen is the weaker one. But looking at this picture here on USDCAD, overall we still remain in this range here, roughly between the 1.3856 and the 1.4261-62 zone. It's getting closer to the lower bound, so be very careful here, because if it tests the area, keep your eyes on the daily candle, because if we get if the daily candle will end its trading today below this territory, then there is a good chance for this one to drift further south. But of course, don't get me wrong, we may get a false breakout, and if the daily candle stays above this, then, well, I mean, maybe it would continue confirming a range here, so it may rebound again. But for now, overall we'll remain neutral, because we need to see a nice good break here through the lower side of the given range before considering lower levels, because this would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and deeper extensions to the downside towards the 1.3734 level, which is around the 100 EMA here on the daily chart, could be possible. In terms of the upside from the very short-term perspective, because again, the upside within the range, we would consider that if we get a push back above the psychological 1.40 zone, and if we see a daily candle staying above that territory, and then yes, we will aim for the upper bound of the range. USDCHF very quickly here. So on Friday I talked about this one, and on Friday it closed, as you can see, below this this level here. I talked about the 0.9713 zone. It also drifted below all of the EMAs here, even the 21-day EMA. However, we're not going to put too much emphasis right now on it, because again, the market is ranging a little bit here. The pair is ranging, so mainly we're going to focus on some support and resistance levels. So the 0.9713, as you can see, that's the low of the 27th of April. It closed on Friday below it. This morning we saw a nice push back up. It did overcome this barrier, but however, as you can see, it kind of is now getting pushed back below this. Now, don't get me wrong, for now we will probably remain on the neutral side. The only positive thing here is that we could maybe see this this little move here down as a little correction before another leg of buying, so, or somewhat maybe like a possible flag here, or maybe pennant. So again, it's not an ideal here, of course, not ideal, but the positive thing is the fact that the pair continues to balance above this 21-day EMA. So let's see if the safe havens yen and CHF can continue losing their grounds against, especially like the US dollar here. For now, it seems like this could be the case. However, again, we would like to see a nice good move back, a strong move back above the 0.9713 zone in order to consider a possible retest of this 0.9797 zone, which is the upper bound of the range where the pair is currently trading in. So be very careful with that, guys. And finally, EURUSD. So here the pair is pushing back up. It's still overall within range, but just wanted to kind of show you here that it's currently actually also trading, nope, not this one. Let me just get rid of this, guys. It's currently, yes, trading within a range roughly between the 1.0756 territory, or even 1.0777 and the 1.0990, roughly around there, guys. So again, for now, we will keep an eye on this, but as you can see, last week the pair drifted lower, and it tested this area, the 1.0777, and kind of rebounded from there. Now, the another thing that I wanted to show you is that this pair is kind of forming something like this. So it's basically, we can draw now an upside support line taken from the low of the 23rd of March, and in a way we can keep an eye on this one. This could be a good indication, for example, to consider the downside. We could get very comfortable here examining the downside if we get a break through this territory, all this territory, this upside support line, the lower bound of the range here, and yep, then we could aim for lower levels. But again, we would need to see a break of this, all this here. So this kind of just makes it even stronger. Let's say it makes even stronger the idea of a downside if we get a break here. For now, we cannot really talk about the downside because, as you can see, first of all, the pair rebounded from the lower side of the range and this upside support line, and is still trading above this level here, the 1.0824 zone. I talked about this one, and in a way, for now, there is still a chance for this one to drift higher. However, we would prefer to see now, given the, like I said, yes, we will stay somewhat positive, I would say, but let's be very careful still, because as you can see, the price is, the rate is trading slightly below the 21-day EMA. So we would like to see a push above the Friday's high, which is roughly around the 1.0875 zone, and then we could consider higher levels, because again, yes, or should I say, we would get a little bit more comfortable with higher levels within the range, because let's not forget about that as well. And this would also place the rate above the 21-day EMA. So maybe, like I said, more buyers could see this as a good opportunity to step in. So that's why, yes, we are still somewhat more bullish than bearish. To get a little bit more comfortable with higher levels, we need to see a push above the Friday's high. So keep your eyes on this one, guys. Very interesting developments, and let's see how all this is going to play out today. So I'm quite happy that you managed to join me, guys, and I hope you found it useful, and I hope we can stay live now. And of course, please try to join my video later on, my Traders Tea Time, around 13:15 GMT. I'll do it live. So like I said, I hope we can stay like this right now. So yep, and guys, I really appreciate all your time, your likes, your views, and I really appreciate that. And thank you very much for joining to this live session. So I hope you have a fantastic trading day. Stay safe, guys, both market-wise and health-wise. And yeah, I'll see you later. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.